All right, so you guys just basically you just saw the Ultimate Fighter episode 9. So that's some good matchups. You know, we basically had Chuck fighting Zach, and basically it's a great fight, man. That was a war. It was good. I mean, Chuck was able to do the the actual comeback and beat Zach. And he basically just he stuck it to Zach, used power shots, used that outside leg kick a lot on Zach's inner leg. Was able to stuff the takedowns, use movement on him. So, Chuck looked great, and I definitely think it's one of the best fights this season. Got Dana White hopping up and down, so it was good for Chuck. It basically gave us, a nice little boost. The one thing they didn't mention is that with Zach, with the retirement situation, he's got Zach's got eyes that basically pop out of his head a lot more than normal, and he's very susceptible to get his retinas torn. He did take a beating against Chuck, but I gotta hand it off to Zach, man. He kept moving forward. He stuck with it. He finished the fight. He took a couple of hard right crosses, and he just kept moving. So, in my opinion, it was definitely a great fight and very entertaining. Up next, we basically had the situation with Tony and Ryan, and that basically that was kind of that was a fast fight. I mean, basically Ryan kind of came in there, Tony hit him with an uppercut, knocked him back, and then basically TKO'd him. Another thing that wasn't mentioned was not to take any credit away from Tony, because he's an excellent fighter. But Ryan, when he fought Len, got a concussion, and basically he, his brain was jarred for a long time. And he wasn't able to practice, wasn't able to do any sparring. Doctor told him that he shouldn't fight Tony, but he decided that he should just go ahead, and he's, my hat's off to Ryan, because he was told by a doctor not to do it, but he still did it. He went in there, and he, it didn't turn out his way, but he still ventured out into it, and made it happen. Well, he didn't make it happen, but Tony's got really, he's got very heavy hands. He's got very good boxing, and he just caught Ryan right on the chin, and I was happy. I saw basically Tony and Chuck both win from our team. That puts 3 guys in the semis. Which made it kind of an interesting dynamic, because with 3 of us and only 1 guy from Dos Santos, we knew at that point, one of us was going to be fighting somebody on the, on our own team. And then basically we got matched up. I got against Ramsey, and then Tony got against, Tony went against Chuck. And, I specifically pulled Brock aside. I said, hey man, I want Ramsey. I asked for him in the quarters. You guys didn't give him to me. I stepped up to the plate. I fought Shamar. I don't think anyone really asked for Shamar, but I went ahead and just, and Brock gave me what I wanted, and it was Ramsey. I mean, the last thing I wanted to do was fight anybody off my own team, because, that would be difficult, because we all slept next to each other. We all hang out with each other. We all basically became really good friends, and to have to fight your friend would be a difficult scenario. So when I found out that I fought Ramsey, that I'm going to be fighting Ramsey, I basically, I was happy about that. I think Ramsey mistook it, basically thinking that when I was kind of celebrating that it was because I'm fighting Ramsey, but that was the situation, because Ramsey is a very good fighter. In my opinion, he's the best fighter that was on Dos Santos' team. And, I got my work, I got a lot of work. I mean, it's gonna be a very tough fight. So stay tuned and watch that. We also see a lot of drama situation that happens in the house with Tony and basically drinking. It's something I can kind of understand, because I'm a recovering alcoholic. I don't drink anymore, and I've been sober for almost 6 months now. And watching Tony kind of change like that, it was he's definitely a very he can be a mean drunk, I guess, at times, and everyone was drinking. And it just got out of hand, and it escalated. But what he said to Charlie, I mean, that's almost unforgivable, and that's something you just can't say, to another man. You never really bring up another man's woman, or you never bring up his kids. And Tony crossed that line. A scene they didn't show was, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it happened that night, but I'm not positive. But it was a big blow up that happened basically at the fire between Charlie and Len, and it was kind of instigated by Tony. And it was a point where, you know, Charlie and Len were just exchanging words and getting very angry at each other because Len was constantly on the show, basically being kind of a one-upper, you know. I mean, to be honest with you, I got nothing against Len, but whatever you told him on the show and, like, whatever you were about, all of a sudden he's done something better. You know, he was a very cocky individual, could be very negative at times. You know, after he lost to Ryan, he gave a real negative vibe for a couple weeks. And what the problem that we had on our team was a lot of guys were basically just talking behind people's backs. And the situation was like with the double agent stuff, I never knew about that because it was all said behind my back. And when finally people started confronting me about it, I'm like, okay, you know, maybe something's happening. But that's the kind of thing, is like, I don't know if Len was talking behind Charlie's back, but I mean, the thing is like, Tony got drunk, everyone was drunk, and then he just instigated a conversation between Charlie and Len, and that happened, and then Len stormed off, and you know, that was kind of a fiasco. And you know, it just, the night just escalated, and it definitely ended with a blowout. And you know, like Chuck said, he kind of had issues fighting Tony because, you know, they're friends and we were on the same team. But you know, after he said that stuff to Charlie, who's his good friend, you know, now it's personal. He's got nothing. He's got no problem fighting Tony now, and we'll just have to stay tuned next week to see what happens. So yeah, I'd like to thank TVideoTours for doing all these interviews. You know, and I'd like to thank my manager, Jeff Clark, my coaches, Pat Spade, Charles Martinez, Tom Hill, strength and conditioning, and then all the people that have helped me out thus far. And thanks to everyone that's been checking these out. All right, we're out.